Welcome everyone to Piney Plays Torchlight. And today I'll be playing the original Torchlight, and perhaps maybe some later time if this series proves popular I'll look into Torchlight 2. In this particular game you have a choice between three classes. And that is the Destroyer, which is your basic melee style fighter. The Vanquisher, your basic range style fighter. And your Alchemist, your basic mage type. So therefore you got a fighter, a mage, and a rogue type. Now in this case I'll be taking the Alchemist. And you see I've already selected the name Pine Staff, which is the same name I use for my Lore Master in Lotro. Now the pet you see, the pet comes with all the classes. You have a choice between a cat and a dog. I will note that in Torchlight 2 there are 4 classes instead of 3, and that they've changed things around quite a bit, and there are quite a bit larger number of pets available. Now I decided I'm going to take the dog, and I'm going to be naming him Blaze, which looks a little wolf-like to me, so therefore I'm giving him a name that means Blaze, which means wolf in Breton. Now, I think that's it, and we can start. Now I have a choice between 4 modes. You want a casual, easy, normal, for if you're new to action RPGs, and this is if you're a veteran you might want hard, and if you're a masochist very hard, and if you're the type, of course, hardcore, which means that if you get killed, game's over, you can't reload or anything like that. Now, while this says veterans should start here, I don't play this type of game often enough recently, I think, for me to really get through hard all that well. But I will try that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try hard. And I think it's my first time trying this at hard mode.
The keystone of my art. For my kind, Torchlight is a beacon, a place of power. The largest cache of Ember ever found. I had heard nothing of the troubles afflicting that place. I came only to serve my own ends, but I was lost as soon as I set foot in Torchlight. The evil gathering there swallowed me, and I may never break free of it entirely. The mines are dark, and below that, the blackness is impossible to describe. There is power beyond imagining, but the price is so very high.
Yes, we're here to find Ember, which is, as he says, the essence of magic, and that's great. Unfortunately, the Ember here is corrupted, and that's the story. You have to go collect Ember without getting too corrupted, or at least that's the impression I get on it. Now, I have tips on for this run. I could easily turn them off, and I prefer to play it without the tips on, but I figure that if you're watching through this playthrough and are interested, I might as well have the tips up, so if I forget a point, a tip popping up on some new element will remind me that this is a new point. Welcome to the town of Torchlight. Explore the area by left clicking and moving around. If you are familiar with Diablo, then it's in this style. So it's what people call the Diablo clone class of games. Now, originally, my favorite Diablo clone was a game called Fate, which is done through HP service rather than through Steam, and one of my things about dropping HP and going with Steam was not being able to play Fate. Well, it turns out that Torchlight was created by the same person who did Fate, and is, I feel it's very much an improved version of Fate, so therefore this is my go-to one now, and I'm in the mood of this type of game. Though, as you know, that I play Lotro, which is more of a, you're going against 1 or 2 enemies at a time, or maybe 3 or 4 if you're doing a skirmish, and that's sort of my usual lines. While in this type of game, sometimes you get masses and masses, so the amount of destruction here is sometimes a little bit high, and when I'm not in the mood for it, I don't play this game all that often. But when I am in the mood for it, this would be my go-to game for, well, more likely Torchlight 2. But I thought I'd take through here so you get the idea of the story here. And then, as I said, if this series proves popular enough, then I'll try Torchlight 2. Now explore the area by left-clicking around, visit the denizens of the town and shop to find quests to perform, and when you're ready, enter the mines to begin your journey. So here I am in Torchlight. And various people have quests for me, such as this Vasman here, the Ember Scholar, since the entire thing centers around Ember. Oh, well, what spells do I have? Okay, I have 2 potions. Ember Bolt. 2 bolts of Ember energy shoot out, and essentially this is your basic blast one. And here I have on my left click, I'm hitting with you hit with an attack with my staff, and with the right click you cast the spell that's here. You can switch out between 2 spells with the tab key, and you can use the number keys for your other abilities. And we have our identify scroll and town portal here, and anyone familiar with Diablo will know about those particular spells because obviously they come straight from that game.
Hello there.
Yes, these monsters' attacks are disrupting my work. I am Vasman, Scholar of Ember. I travel to Torchlight to study the vast supply of Ember below, but these creatures make it impossible to obtain the samples I need. Perhaps you have more courage than these miners. If you are brave enough to go into the tunnels and bring me a sample of gleaming Ember, I will reward you well. It should not be difficult. Look for Ember on the first floor of the mine. This mage always gives you quests, as far as I can tell, to find a particular type of Ember. And you will find that various quest givers have various themes to it. Now, I don't know if he always gives you the same quest with every character, but it looks like it's always some sort of Ember down below, usually giving you a level in which to look for it. And I think that sort of like takes you through the entire game like that. So that's his type of it, is to find a piece of Ember. So his at least are standard things, and those you can understand the type of thing. Now this is the transmuter.
Hello, friend.
I cannot concentrate with these monsters about. If you have items to combine, you will have to come back another time. Okay. I guess in other words, it's at a... Anyway, the idea is that he combines treasures to make new items.
Hello there.
Ember is essential for my work, but these monsters are making it impossible to mine. I am Goran the Enchanter. For a price, I can imbue your weapons and armors with the magic of Ember. Be warned, Ember is powerful, and even I cannot predict the effect. So, this, you take an item, he gives it a random enchantment.
I've got the finest cut gems and Ember.
If the seer hasn't arrived to fight the monsters, I would already have packed up my gems to left town. Please, help her if you can. Alright, so that means I need to go to the seer. I think the seer is the main quest giver here. We'll see.
Hiya.
Alright, at this point, because we're only at the beginning of the game, they're not selling anything. Now, we do have this guy. Now, here we show our inventory screen. Whenever you bring up the merchant, you see your inventory screen, and this is merchant interface. So, and the idea here is I could buy things from the merchant, and I can. And here are my initial things: a couple of potions and a couple of scrolls. I don't think I need to buy anything, but he will sell mainly miscellaneous things. But you could also sell weapons and armor to him if you wish. Now this is your pet's inventory. Yes, your pet does have an inventory, and you can hold equipment, spells, and fish. And I have 3 pages there, so you could hold. And this is all the equipment you can hold. These are the spells you can hold. This is the fish you can hold. I don't know why you need so many spots for spells. They probably should have called the spells and scrolls and dumped that into there so you don't have to take your equipment slots. Fish, though, you do tend to accumulate quite a bit of in the course of the game. And you have 2 sets you could have for weapons, but I only have 1 weapon so far. You start very basic, of course, at the beginning.
Help or stay out of the way.
So here,
Brink! Over here! I can't hold them back much longer.
You alright, Syl? Rest here a while. I'm going ahead to finish the job.
Alright, so he goes
No
into the
wonder
portal.
Master Ulrich sent for my help. The Ember mines are overrun with these creatures. His letter was urgent, but I had no idea how dire things had become. I am Syl, and that was my companion, Brink. We've only just arrived in Torchlight, and it looks like we're going to need some help. You look capable, and I can pay you well. Please, catch up to Brink before he gets himself killed.
Alright,
You have
and that's
begun a new quest.
the main quest line is that you get from her. But before I do that, there is, let's see, if I hit Q, I get my quest. So I have Aid Brink, and then bringing the Glimmer Ember. Now there are a couple others that you often get. I don't know if they're available yet. Might be you have to do something first to unlock those. But you'll see exclamation points as you've noted before. So I think the others aren't ready yet because there's a guy. I think one of the guys is usually here because we're at our introductory phase. So I presume that's why there isn't much open yet, since this is our first time into the dungeon
I've
here.
arrived in Torchlight and begun my exploration of the tunnels below. These mines are vast and aglow with ember. I've never seen so rich a vein. Miners labor to extract it and take no heed of my warnings. I cannot blame them. I, too, could not resist the pull of ember. This ember is the same as that which afflicts me. The taint within it resonates with the corruption in my bones. I can feel it so clearly now. Blight springs from the depths and flows up through the veins. To purge myself of this evil, I must find the source.
And therefore that's our main quest, is to find the source of the evil ember and the like. And we start out here in the mines. Now I presume that these are randomly generated, since that's the typical of this type of game. My health is low. Okay, well I better... Yeah, my health is definitely low. So I'll quaff a potion. Gleaming Ember. You have completed a quest. You receive your reward, travel back and speak with the individual with the question mark above their head, and use Town Portal Scroll in order to go directly there if I wish, yes. Right now, though, we do have the other quest, and that is with Brink, so I will do that before I turn in this quest. Oh, that's right, remember I'm on hard mode this time.
Hello there.
Once I get a little deeper down here, you start running into fashioned stone, bits of old statues. Something's buried deep here, mark me. Now, in the early parts you run into miners, later on you don't run into miners anymore. And you also have chests here, which of course have items in there and money. You hit I for your inventory, and we've got, okay, that's the quest object, and a leather helm. Currently I have no helmet on, so I might as well... Actually, I had a leather coif before, it looks like. And, let's see, does that change? No, alright. It requires a strength 2, which I do have. I have a strength of 6 right now, 6, 7, 10. So my main one is magic, of course. And defense is my lowest. So therefore, I do have 2 armor at the moment. So it's the same, but this one's socketable, so I could put a gem on it later if I find one. Oh. You have found a spell scroll. In the scroll spell tab of your inventory, you can right click on the scroll or drop it into your spell slot and learn it. And you'll gain a new ability. You can also teach your pets them that by dropping them into the appropriate slots in their inventory. So now in this case, that was probably done there just to teach you about spells and like to give you a quick one at the beginning since it's early in the game. And so let's see, what is the spell? Spell, Elemental Protection 1. The caster's buffer to increase elemental resistance. Right click to learn the spell. I might as well learn it at this point. Now you have up to 4 spells. So therefore, if you want to learn a spell later on after you know 4 of them, you got to pull them out. But I could also give them to... No, that's right, P is for pet. Alright, this is your pet's inventory. And I can also teach a spell to my... Oh, that... pet, so they get 2 of them. But I think I will give this one to myself. You have inscribed a new spell in your spell book. You may now cast it as you would any other skill. Skills and spells can be mapped to the quick slots on the bottom of the screen by clicking on them. And how a spell differs from a... Oh. And how a spell differs from a skill is that skills are class-based. So each class has their own set of skills, while... Alright, let me hit A to show the map here, yeah. Right. Okay, that's the way it came from. That's what I thought. And you can zoom in and out like... Ah, there we go. Yes, you can use the actually the bracket keys in order to go in and out. Oh, what's this? Alright, nothing special there, and nothing special there. And we'll go down a little bit further in this area. Whoops! That was... Oh, yes. Well, at least I gave myself elemental protection. It wasn't my original intention at all. My mana is low. Alright. Yeah. Alright, good. Now, my object here is, of course, to find Brink. I better... I'll probably need a better staff at some point. Let's see, what have we got here? Now I want to make sure I take care of the stuff that's easily visible first before I worry about opening cages. Anything down here to clear out? Alright. We also have these slimes here. Slimes are our favorite from... Well, maybe not a favorite, but those are the things you commonly ran into. Gels, yes, what they call them. That's what they called them in Fate also. They're quite... So he did take a number of things that you find in Fate and transport them over into this game when he created this game. Alright, there we go. Now let's worry about... Now, when I talk about Fate, I am obviously talking about a video game by that name. You have discovered a magical item. This is unidentified, which means that its magic powers are undiscovered. Identify it by right-clicking Identify scroll and left-clicking the item. So after this, let's go into my inventory. And here are some things I've picked up since then. A some leather boots which require level 2, and some unidentified boots. And currently I don't have anything on my feet, so let's identify them. Now, identifying things isn't always needed. Now, especially at lower levels, where if it's something that you might not ever want to use, you might not want to bother identifying, since identify scrolls cost 25 gold each, so the increase in value of the item might be less than 25 when you're at low level. But let's see what we have. Well, this is a level 1 thing, requires a defense of 8, so that's the problem there, is I can't use it since my defense is only 5. Now I might want to... Now I could, of course, when I level up, put some into defense, but usually I do things at range here, so defense isn't as important for me as a melee type. Alright, what have we got here? A plunger, what's that? Oh, I guess that's what that does. And I found lots and lots of gold here. And a chest. Some health potions. Oh, so some green. A leather belt. This is also unidentified. I might as well identify the belt, and requires level 2. So I'm finding a number of things that require me to level up first. So I don't think I'm too far from getting level. I don't think I'm too... Well, right now, according to this, I am at 3735. So that concludes that little area. I think I just need to find a couple more monsters. Then I should be able to level up. And here are a couple more. Interesting. And there's level 2 of the dungeon. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Oh, that's right, it's A. Let's see. I wasn't expecting level 2 of the dungeon so quickly. I forgot how quickly the first level goes. But now, where did Brink go? Oh, that's journal. It's Q for quest. When you confuse it with other games, because so many other games I have, J is what you hit for your quest log. Protect Brink, you will be able to find him in the Ember mine, right? But we don't know where yet. So therefore, we'll go here. So next time, we'll delve into level 2 and see if we could find out what happened to Brink in our next episode of Pineath Plays Torchlight.